Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kanja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kanja Bihari. Swami Srimad Paramahansa Parikacharya also saw that this is Madhvanga Separation Arena. Bhagavatam Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. As confounded baby founder Srila Prabhupada Ki. Swami Srimad Paramahansa Parikacharya saw that this is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki. Premshiko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Sivastika Bhakti Ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakun Radha Govardhana Ki. Come on, I can't hear you. Mathura Vrindavan Dhama Ki. Hey, come on. Mathura Vrindavan Dhama Ki. Loudly. Navadvip Mayapur Dhama Ki. Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki. And the Sringashatra Dham Ki. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Sri Harinath Sankirtan Ki. Mahamantra Ki. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki. Kali Yoga Yagya Harinath Sankirtan Ki. Transcendental Cow Protection Ki. Gopamanande. All great assembled devotees. Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki. Gopamanande. All great assembled devotees. All glory assembled devotees, all glory assembled devotees. All glory to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Glory to the Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Feel Danka. Feel Danka, is that right? Thank you. It's okay, it's stuck, it's stuck. Thank you. Okay, it's okay. Okay, everyone's on the third canto. How's that? In Europe, everyone's on the third canto. Who's organizing that? Huh? Answer me, please. We have a translator? Huh? Everyone speaks English. The British, they won the Second World War. Now it's all English in Germany. Is that right? Actually, nobody won the Second World War. Prabhupada said that the British, they've lost their supremacy now. Now Germany is a richer country than England. Prabhupada said the British will become beggars. I'm from England. I mean, there's no translator? What's happening, please? There's some German over there? Okay. 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 So which verse, please? 3. Srimad Bhagavatam. 48. Chapter calls the principles of material nature. Fundamental principles of material nature. That's the name of this chapter. Please repeat. Fundamental principles.
Fundamental principles
of material nature.
of material nature.
Just checking if everyone can hear me. Which verse? 36? 48. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Don't waste time. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Hare. So for those locals who have been listening to the class for the last few days, we can, you must know what's going on. Text 48, right? But for the previous people like me from Harinam Ruchi Party, I want to recap some of the translations. Okay? Any complaints? Seems like nobody's reacting. Does anyone understand English? Anybody? Yeah, this is supposed to be a bit interactive, you know. When I ask a question, there should be an answer. Right? Let's go questions and answers. Let's back to yoga. Okay, please wake up. This is actually totally amazing what is being described here. It's describing how this illusion is created, so which we believe is real. So it's describing the elements. So here we go. This is text 40. I'm going back so that we know the context. Text 40. Fire is appreciated by its light and by its ability to cook, to digest, to destroy cold, to evaporate, and to give rise to hunger, thirst, eating, and drinking. 41. By the interaction of fire and the visual sensation, the subtle element taste evolves under a superior arrangement. From taste, water is produced, and the tongue, which perceives taste, is also manifested. 42. Although originally one, taste becomes manifold as astringent, sweet, bitter, pungent, sour, and salty, due to contact with other substances. The characteristics of water are exhibited by its moistening other substances coagulating various mixtures, causing satisfaction, maintaining life, softening things, driving away. Can I have some warm water, please? Driving away heat, incessantly supplying itself to reservoirs of water, and refreshing by slaking thirst. 44. Due to the interaction of water with the taste perception, the subtle element odor, smell, evolves under superior arrangement. Thence, the earth and the olfactory sense by which we can variously experience the aroma of the earth becomes manifest. Odor, that means smell, although one, becomes many, as mixed, offensive, fragrant, mild, strong, acidic, and so on, according to the proportions of associated substances. 46. It's warm, is it? Okay. The characteristics of the functions of earth can be perceived by modeling forms of the Supreme Brahman, by constructing places of residence, by preparing pots to contain water, etc. In other words, the earth is the place of sustenance for all elements. Text 47. The sense whose object of perception is sound is called the auditory sense, and that whose object of perception is touch is called the tactile sense. Okay, we're going to 48 now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tejo Guna Vishesho Arto Yasya Touch Chakshur Uchite Ambo Guna Vishesho Arto Yasya Tad Rasanam Viduhu Bhumer Guna Vishesho Arto Yasya Sa Grana Uchite Tejo Guna Visheshorto Yasya Tachaksha Uchite Ambo Guna Visheshorto Yasya Tadrasanam Vidu Bhumer Guna Visheshorto Yasya Sagrana Uchate Tejo Guna Visheshorto Yasya Tachaksha Uchate Ambo guna visheshoto yasya tadrasanam vidu. Bhume guna visheshoto yasya sagrana uchate. Teja guna visheshoto yasya taschaksha uchate. Ambaguna visheshoto yasya rasanam vidu. Bhume guna visheshoto yasya sagrana uchate. Teja guna visheshoto yasya taschaksha uchate. Ambaguna visheshoto yasya tadrasanam vidu. Bhume guna visheshoto yasya tadgrana uchate. Teja guna visheshoto yasya tachakshu uchate. Ambo guna visheshoto ladies, please. Teja guna vishesha, the distinctive characteristics of fire. Form. Ataha, object of perception. Yasya, whose. Tat, that. Chakshu, the sense of sight. Uchite is called. Amba guna vishesha, the distinctive characteristic of water, taste. Ata, object of perception. Yasya, whose. Tat, that. Rasanam, the sense of taste. Vidhu, they know. Bhume guna visheshaha, the distinctive characteristic of earth, odor. Ata, object of perception. Yasya, whose. Saha, that. Grana, the sense of smell. Uchite is called. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Mahavishnu Bhagavatam Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The sense whose object of perception is form, the distinctive characteristic of fire, is the sense of sight. The sense whose object of perception is taste, the distinctive characteristic of water, is known as the sense of taste. Finally, the sense whose object of perception is odor, the distinctive characteristic of earth, is called the sense of smell. Please repeat. The sense whose object of perception is form, the distinctive characteristic of fire, is the sense of sight. The sense whose object of perception is taste, the distinctive characteristic of water, is known as the sense of taste. Finally, the sense whose object of perception is odor, the distinctive characteristic of earth, is called the sense of smell. No purport after all that. Why you put up this verse? No, but generally, we recite the Sanskrit of the verse which we give. There's a purport to. Haven't you learned that yet? It makes more sense. You know, we're talking about this verse and then now you're going to the next verse. What's the point? So, in future, please, whoever writes up the sloka, write up the sloka with the purport. It makes more sense. Okay. Parasya drishyate dharmo yaparasmin saman vayat ato vishesho vavanam bhumav evo palakshate. Since the cause exists in the effect as well, the characteristics of the former are observed in the latter. That is why the peculiarities of all the elements exist in the earth alone. Please repeat. Since the cause exists in the effect as well, the characteristics of the former are observed in the latter. That is why the peculiarities of all the elements exist in the earth alone. Purport. Sound is the cause of the sky. Sky is the cause of the air. Air is the cause of fire. Fire is the cause of water. Water is the cause of earth. In the sky there is only sound. In the air there are sound and touch. In the fire there are sound, touch, and form. In water there are sound, touch, form, and taste. And in the earth there are sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. Therefore earth is the reservoir of all the qualities of the other elements. Earth is the sum total of all other elements. The earth has all 5 qualities of the elements. Water has 4 qualities, fire has 3, air has 2, and the sky has only 1 quality, sound. Omaganati Murandasya Yananjana Salakaya Shakshuranilitam Dena Tasme Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Savitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasati Gaur-Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Makom Karoti Vachalam, Pangam Langayate Girim, Yat Kripatalaham Vande, Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. So this is Sankhya, this is analytical study of the material world. And this is the nature of transcendental knowledge. It starts with the conception or the picture of the complete whole. This is deductive knowledge, this is descending knowledge. It starts with the conception of the complete whole, supreme personality of Godhead, along with all its energies. Right? This is the way it is. Natasya karyam karanam cha vijite, natatsamas chadikasya dushite. Vividvai vashuyate, svabhavaki jnana valakriyacha. Parasya shakti vividvai vashuyate. So the Lord has nothing to do. Natasya karyam karanam cha vijite, natatsamas chabhyadikasya dushite. He has no equal and no superior. It starts with the conception of the complete whole, or God. That's what we're learning. We start from Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, in 7th chapter, Krishna says, Bhumi rapana lovayu kamana buddhi, you know, Bhumi rapana lovayu kamana buddhi evacha ankaraiti me bina prakriti astita. And then Krishna explains that and there's another energy of mind. Apariyam atastamyam prakritim vidime param. Jiva bhuta mahabaho yedam dharite jagam. These are Krishna's, main energies. Krishna is explaining himself. Because this is a deductive process. We hear from Krishna. Touch to know. At the beginning of this chapter, Krishna says, just hear from me. How? By practicing yoga in full knowledge of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full without a doubt. That's the first verse of 7th chapter, text 1. Prabhupada gave class on that verse 26 times. Because the whole point is, we're hearing from Krishna. It's a descending process. Whereas in modern education, it's the opposite. They've just spent like $10 billion sending the John Webb telescope to outer space to get some photographs so they can figure out how the universe was created. $10 billion. You could feed the whole world many times over for $10 billion. Kichuri. You make kichuri. And Srikand, maybe Srikand also. And chutney and papas. So, that's how the scientists waste the money of all the taxpayers. Do you know you're paying half these countries? The most money goes on the budget of the defense, the army. That's how they make their money, all the factories. That's why war, Ukraine war, Russian war, is good for the economy. As soon as there's, economy is getting bad after COVID-19, we must have a war. And Biden rings up Putin, let's have a war. It's time for you to invade Ukraine. Yeah, let's go for it. The economy is boosted up. No matter the people starve, it doesn't matter. The economy gets good. So this is This is called inductive knowledge, ascending knowledge. The only problem with this knowledge is, what are the 4 main problems of this knowledge from the latest side? Ladies, please. The 4 defects of inductive knowledge, scientific knowledge. 1 defect, please. Managers, please, come on. You're the mother. You're mothers. You've got to teach your kids this stuff. Or else they'll go to school and they learn all this nonsense and they believe it. They believe that the universe is, like this, the universe is like that. That life comes from matter. That life is coming by chemicals. Yeah. When there's sexual intercourse, some chemicals come together and life is formed. Are we supposed to believe that? Then why can't they create life? Because what's the first thing they do, the scientists? Their senses are imperfect. What else? Senses are imperfect? Huh? They make mistakes? Huh? To be illusion and cheating, and that's what all the schools and colleges on this planet are doing. They're cheating the people. Because where do they get their authority from? Imperfect senses, likely to make mistakes, likely to cheat. What else? Likely to be illusion. And we believe it. We're so stupid. People are so stupid, not us. But when I say we, I mean all the so-called human beings. We're so stupid. Why do we believe it? For sense gratification. We want to enjoy sense gratification. So we believe anything. Here's your Motorola. Here's your Samsung. Here's your motor car. Here's your Boeing 707. Here's your electricity. Oh, so nice. We love you, scientists. You must be right. Yes, life comes from matter. Although no one has ever seen life come from matter. We've seen life comes from a male chicken and a female chicken. We've seen life comes from, the pollen and the flower. The pollen, we've seen there must be male and female. Yeah. Immaculate conception, it doesn't happen very often. Maybe exceptional cases. Like Vasudeva impregnated Krishna into the heart of Devaki. Because he was on the transcendental platform. Maybe, Mother Mary conceived, immaculate conception. But generally, a man impregnates a woman, and we learn from the Vedic scriptures that what's that verse? By the force of higher authority, that verse. Huh? Divinatory, yeah. Divinatory. The spirit soul enters the womb of the mother, and therefore the child grows in the womb. That's why they haven't been able to produce life. They haven't been able to produce life by chemical reaction. They try to get chromosomes and DNA, RNA, all these chemicals, but they've not been able to create life. If they could, they would. They'd make a fortune. They could just inject. Some guy's trying to die, okay, give him an injection. Come back to life. So, but we believe all these people because we're into sense gratification. The people are being fooled by sense gratification. Nunam pramata kurute vikama yad indriya pritaya aprinoti. People become mad when they accept sense gratification as the goal of life. Prahlad Maharaj said, Nasadu manye ya atmato yam ashanapi klesha ashadesha. Yeah. Prahlad Maharaj says, Manya, I don't think this is wise for intelligent men to get carried away by sense gratification. Why? Because we have to die. We have to grow old and have disease. No matter how much sense gratification people have, death is staring them in the face. Old age is staring them in the face. Disease is staring them in the face. You see? So how can anyone be happy when you know you have to die and grow old? And Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita the summary of all Vedic knowledge. He said, Dukkha doshana darshanam. The real knowledge means to know the miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. And people don't even understand that. On Harinam Ruchi, every day we're going, and we go around the restaurants. And the poor stupid fools, actually the supposed human beings, they've got their champagne and their glass and their pizza, steak, and they think they're happy. But death is looking over their shoulder. Some guy made, I've heard that in some of these posh restaurants where they serve fish, they have a special instrument to save the guy who's choking. He's got a fish bone in his throat. He's going to die. So the guy comes along with a weight, pulls out the fish bone. And he still thinks he's happy. And I personal experience, many of you have, before we joined devotees. When you drink too much, what's the next day? Oh my God. Oh no, hangover. So you have to have a cup of coffee and some other treatment, And when you have too much sex, well, you have a problem. Venereal disease. So what you going to do about that? Go to the doctor. Have an injection. Everything. There's a come down. Meat eating. Also, everyone knows now, you get cancer. Eating eggs, fish, eggs. You're eating rotten flesh. From dead bodies. Would you eat? My God. And then you're eating rotten flesh, and then you're getting some disease, What else? Too much sex, too much meat, intoxication, gambling, yeah. It's too much sport. This is gambling. Wasting time. They spend millions of dollars. They were talking to Prabhupada about this. Probably the governments, they don't know what to do. I hope the leaders, is this being transmitted to the governments? Who's the Prime Minister? Mr. Merkel? Mrs. Merkel? She got kicked out, no? Who's the leader now? There's actually this message. I don't like to give class just to the devotees, in-house stuff. We've got to give class to the whole world. They're wasting their time and money with sense gratification. Because whatever you build, whatever you do, maybe your big stadium for Olympic Games, your big football pitch, and you're gambling. Everyone's gambling on these things. Gambling on wasting time. Because the human form of life is special. Human form of life, Acharya Brahmaji goes, this is the Vedic, the first verse of the Vedanta Sutra. Now you have a human form of life. You're not a dog, you're not a cat, you're not a tree, you're not an insect, you're not a fish, you're not a bird. You're a human being. So you can ask questions. Of course, the birds ask questions. Where is food? Where is sex? Yeah, where is intoxication? The ants, they ask questions. Where is sugar? Because sugar is intoxicating. They're all animals. They don't ask questions. Acharya Brahmaji, Brahma means the absolute truth. Who am I? What am I? And the scientists are not going to tell you this. Because they think life comes from matter. And they don't know what matter comes from. But in these verses of the Bhagavatam, we're hearing that from subtle, from spirit, matter is coming. From consciousness, matter is coming. And we can see that. It's obvious. You know, if nobody can make a baby grow in the womb. There has to be a man, you know, he has to inject something. What is that something? It's life. It's consciousness. It's a person. Apariyamitastvamyam prakritim vidimeparam jiva bhuta mahabaho yedam darijay jugat. 7, 8, I think. It says that there is another energy of mind, superior energy of mind, which are all the living beings. Jiva bhuta mahabaho yedam darijay, which are struggling in this material world to exploit this material world. For instance, look at this place here. It didn't happen by chemical reaction, by chance. It happened because so many devotees have worked really hard, collecting money, selling paintings, guys selling books, to get money to build this amazingly beautiful temple for Lord Nrsingadev. Don't forget, the devotees have worked hard in previous years to build. And they all use their intelligence and their energy. And they're all alive beings. They're living beings. And the skyscrapers, the Boeing 707s. You may have the biggest Boeing 07 jumbo jet. It won't move unless there's a pilot. Presses the button, pulls, boom. Or maybe a drone. Maybe a drone. But there's somebody on the controlling of the zone, of the drone. I was charting my jobber in the Czech farm. And I was very happy. And then I had this noise. And then this drone came, looked over the hedge, watching me try and drop her. Yeah. I thought, what's going on? Is it the secret police or something? It's actually one child, one young boy, enamored by the wonders of modern science. But where has modern science stopped death? Where has modern science stopped old age? Where have all the hospitals of the world stopped old age and disease? Where? I'm shouting at you like this because we have to convince these fools and rascals that actually they're barking up. In English we say, barking up the wrong tree, following this modern science. Just because they have a car, they think Lord Jagannath. Rathayatra. Here's my Rathayatra cart. I don't need anyone to pull it. I don't need horses. I just pull in the petrol. It's no problem. I just have to fight the wars in the Middle East to get the oil. They forget about that. Who blow? We don't care if people in Iraq are starving. We don't care if people in Kuwait are starving. As long as we can drive our big car. I am Lord Jagannath. I am God. I'm enjoying. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani savasha ahankara vimudama katyahamiti mani. We think we are the doer. But here in this verse, we can see we're not the doer. Where did the sky come from? Where did the space come from? Where did the air come from? Where did the fire come from? We can't even cook without fire. We can't even digest without fire. We can't taste without water. And we can't do anything without it. What are we standing on? Don't we ever think? And we're thinking we're the doer. So people have become so foolish. Just like robots. They're already robots of the mass media. You go to CNN or Fox News, and what will you read? Discover. What have the scientists discovered? 2 miles under the Arctic Ocean. What have they discovered? There's many living beings. Wow, we never knew the discovery. We discovered that, this whale is going to be, we think it's going to be extinct in a couple of years because of the pollution. We discovered, that so many things they discover. But they don't discover the solution to death, old age and disease. And yet we're following them, we believe in them. My dear Mr. Biden, Mr. Putin, Mr. Boris Johnson, and the President of Germany, why are you so foolish? Why you don't give your nations something valuable so that they can overcome the miseries of life? Birth, death, old age, and disease. Why are you just giving them sense gratification? Why you don't give them something so they'll be happy? So the whole world will be happy. And that's this Krishna consciousness. Understand the science of the soul. What is God? What is His nature? What is the law of karma? Then people will be happy. The Bhagavad Gita is a science. It's not some Hinduism. You're thinking this Hare Krishna movement is some faith, some sectarian faith, or a dangerous society. It's dangerous to the fools and rascals. But we want to teach people how to be happy. You see? But when they know that I'm not this body, I'm an eternal spirit soul. I'm changing my body from childhood to youth to old age. And I don't have to do this. I don't have to suffer. Why? Because I'm actually eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. My nature is to be joyful forever. But I'm locked in this prison house of this body. So I'm not happy. But the Krishna conscious movement can teach people how to be happy without intoxication, without killing the animals, without illicit sex, without gambling. We can make everyone happy without all these things. My dear sir, Mr. Biden, there's no need to fight any war, Ukraine. It won't make you happy anyway. It won't make you happy. Because over and above this, you have to grow old and die. Mr. Putin, can you be really happy knowing that you're going to grow old and die? Even if you're not assassinated first. And Mr. Boris Johnson, you may be assassinated. Biden, you may be assassinated. Even if you live to be around ripe old age, you still have to grow old and die. And you don't know where you're going. And you have to have diseases, cancer. They can't cure it. Old age, misery. So why don't you care for other people? Why don't you think how to make your people happy? And this Krishna conscious movement can make people happy very simply. We go on the street, Harinam Ruchi. We go on the street every day. And we get people to clap their hands and chant Hare Krishna. Dance and sing. Free. And we have a whole culture all over the world now where people, they don't have to have this big economic burden on society of atomic weapons and motor cars and electric light. People can live more simply without all these things and dance and sing and be happy. So this is a great science. We're inviting the world. This is a transcendental science. It's coming from Krishna. It's an analytical science. If you simply accept that there is God, that this world didn't come from a Big Bang, you've never proved it, my dear sir, that this world came from a Big Bang, although you teach it in all your scientific classes at school, or primordial soup, or you teaching your students, we come from a quantum vacuum. What's a quantum vacuum? Nobody understands it. We popped out of nothing. My dear sir, Putin and Boris Johnson, is it common sense to think that we've come from nothing? Has anything ever come from nothing? Something comes from something. And consciousness life must come from a conscious source. And we are persons. Why can't there be a supreme person? It's reasonable. It's reasonable actually. So don't think that this, because some religions are fighting with one another, that there's no truth in spiritual knowledge. There is truth. And the real truth is in our Bhagavad Gita as it is, and the books of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada has written about 60 or 80 books, and they're in all like 50 or 60 languages. You just simply take these books to all your universities and colleges all over the planet and teach your students what's in the books. It's common sense. Yeah, let's face it. I was thinking the other day when I was in Prague, what I should have said in my lecture on the Rath Yatra Day. I should have started my lecture like this. It's common sense. We come into this world without anything, and we leave without anything. And we're so foolish that we think that this nation, this body, everything belongs to me. Nothing belongs to me. This is the first lesson of Krishna consciousness. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Okay, time for questions. Oh, we got 10 minutes. What time's prasadam? That's the real question. Huh? Sorry? Oh, we got 10 minutes for questions. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Yeah? Question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. The scientists, they know that they discovered the echo of the Big Bang.
The what?
They discovered the echo of the Big Bang. Must be a Big Bang, have been a Big Bang, and they were able to perceive the echo of this Big Bang.
So what's your question?
So, what about this? I mean, this seems to be a proof.
Because where's the proof? Where's the proof that you can overcome death?
Future.
I mean, you're still going to die. You're still going to have diseases. You're going to still have old age, even though you've heard the echo of the Big Bang. What good is it going to do you? Except that you're going to get a lot of money from NASA, so you can have your big screen TV, and you can have your bottle of beer, and you can watch the baseball, and you can go on a holiday. That's what all these scientists are doing. If they don't discover something, they lose their job. As soon as you discover that the Big Bang is, I won't say it because you may say it's blasphemous, is the original male and female, Durga and Shiva. She's explained in Brahma Samhita. Yeah. It's all explained in Brahma Samhita, also the creation of the universe. But all the elements are coming from Mahavishnu and so on. And Lord Shri Govinda Maripurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So even if you have discovered, you think you've discovered the echo of the Big Bang, what good is it going to do you? It's simply speculation. It's not going to help you overcome old age, disease, and death. You come into this world without anything. You leave without anything. So why don't you use your time to overcome death? You can't replay the Big Bang, even if you could. So where did the Big Bang come from? Who made the Big Bang? I can make a Big Bang like this. But, I'm a person. So who made the Big Bang? It's a good question. Where did the elements come from to make the Big Bang? You say it's an echo. So the sound, we say, yeah, everything comes from sound. But that sound is transcendental sound from the Gayatri. Lord Brahma was a person, and he was inspired by the sound of Krishna's flute. Krishna is playing his flute. This seems more reasonable. And Krishna has his energies. And then he inspired Lord Brahma by Gayatri Mantra. And Lord Brahma was inspired how to create all the planetary systems and species of life. It makes, there must be intelligence. Things don't happen without intelligence. So the scientists are just fooling the people. The echo of the Big Bang. And the Big Bang will happen when the roof of your coffin closes and you're locked into your coffin. My dear sir, you think you're this body? Okay, you stay in your coffin and be eaten by worms. Do you really think you're this body? Your common sense is that you've changed your body from childhood to youth, from youth to old age. Bhagavad Gita 2:13. From youth, old age to death. That you're the same person. The body is changing, you're the same. Just like you're changing your clothes. This is science. This is real science. It's not speculation. Maybe this, perhaps this, So you get your money from the government. So you can do your research work to cheat the people. Real science is recognizing I'm not this body. You can teach a child of 6 this, 5 or 6 this. Yeah. What is real science? The sun is rising in the morning, the sun is setting. That's real science. This is common sense. And the Vedic knowledge is giving us this truth. So scientists, we don't respect the scientists. We respect them that they're cheating the people. Good cheaters, that's all. And next question, please. Actually, Ramananda Roy and Lord Chaitanya were talking. And Ramananda Roy was giving so many answers about what is the benefit of the people. And Lord Chaitanya accepted. Jnane prayasam udapasyam namanta eva. Give up your speculation. You just hear from the Vedic authorities. And that way you can transcend this birth and death. So this is real science. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and chanting Hare Krishna. This is a process. And by chanting Hare Krishna, we become convinced I'm not this body. And that the best thing for the whole world is that they get the holy names. They read Prabhupada's books. They take prasadam. This is real welfare work. Your mobile phone's not going to help anyone. Your car is not going to help anyone. They're still going to grow old and die. But devotees are going to grow old and their bodies are going to grow old and die. But we know where we're going. We know we're going to get a next group, where we're going to get a next birth in the next life. Just like we've changed our body in this life, we're going to change is going to continue into the next life. And by Bhagavad Gita, we can predict what kind of body you're going to get in your next life. Mr. Putin, my dear sir, do you know you may going to be a frog in your next life? A frog. Mr. Putin, you may become a frog in your next life. And Boris Johnson, you may become a dog in your next life. And like this, Mr. Biden, who knows what you're going to become in your next life? Don't you care where you're going to go in your next life? This is science. So we don't believe the scientists. They're foolish, cheaters, rascals. Yeah. I'm just repeating what Prabhupada has taught us. I'm not claiming to be a new Srila Prabhupada or anything. Just listen to the morning walks of Srila Prabhupada. listening to the lectures of Prabhupada, read Prabhupada's books. I'm just a dim reflection of Prabhupada. And in my old age, I'm just trying to say that, imitate Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, imitation of a good thing is not a bad thing. So Prabhupada was heavy. Prabhupada criticized the leaders. Criticized because now look at the state of the world. If we don't do something, if we don't go out and preach, then we will have failed Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada wanted us to save the world by the Sankirtan movement. If we just sit at home eating prasadam, and just care for ourselves, bhajanandis, what about the people on the street who never hear the holy name? Or they say, come up to us, hey, we thought you Hare Krishnas, we last you saw Hare Krishnas in the 60s, in 1960s. And they've forgotten about Hare Krishna. Oh, we're very happy. We have to do something. What do? Chant 16 rounds, take prasadam, hear the class, and then we have to go out on Sankirtan. Sankirtan Yagya King.
Joy.
Srila Prabhupada King. Sorry about that. Please excuse me. Vande Krishna Nanda Kumara. Nanda Kumara Madana Gopala. Madana Gopala Mohana Rupa. Who's the youngest? Who's the youngest? Hey, where is he? Vande Krishna Nanda Kumara. Where? The youngest. No little boy, little girl? Oh, you're the youngest. Okay. Vande Krishna Nanda Kumara. Nanda Kumara Madana Gopala. Nanda Kumara Madana Gopala Mohana Rupa. Mohana Rupa Nanda Kumara. Vajaya de Bahari Govindari Gopalari Jaya Prabhu Dina Jaya Vande Krishna Nanda Kumaran Nanda Kumara Madana Gopala Madana Gopala Mohana Rupa Mohana Rupa Nanda Kumara. And I don't mean to say that you should stop doing agriculture and having schools and looking at educating the children. That's very important because this is, we have to live somehow, and the better we live off the land and look after our children. In Czechoslovakia, they do homeschooling, they have school, and they have farm. So this is the future also, for our warriors to have a home that they can go out and preach. So both things have to go on. I'm not saying, we should stop the farm or anything. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya, Prahlad Nrsimha, Jaya, Nrsimha Dev, Prahlad Nrsimha, Jaya, Nrsimha Dev. Hey, how are you?
Okay, better than before.
Jaya, Prabhupada, Jaya, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya, Prabhupada. We're still here. By Prabhupada's mercy. Was it Ajit? Ajit?